सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम श्री विश्वनाथाय नमः। ओम श्री शंकराचार्याय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरु शिवानंदाय नमः। जय शिव ओंकार, भज शिव ओंकार, ब्रह्म विष्णु सदा शिव, हर शिव महादेव। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात्। ईशान सर्वविद्यानां ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदाशिवोम्। त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। हरि ओम। ओम नमः शिवाय। 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 ओम नमः ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः। हरि ओम। शिवाय नमः। ओम शिवाय नमः। शिवाय नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय। शिव 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 शिवाय नमः। हर 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 नमः शिवाय। शिव शिव शंकर हर हर शंकर जय जय शंकर नमामि शंकर। हर हर शंकर जय जय शंकर नमामि शंकर। सांब सदा शिव सांब सदा शिव सांब सदा शिव सांब शिवा। ओम नमः शिवाय। 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 ओम नमः Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Hari Om. Shankar Bhagavan ki jai. Worshipful homage unto the Supreme Reality, the all-transcending Supreme Cosmic Spirit Divine. Get absorbed back into the imponderable infinity of this Supreme Primal Spirit. And these universes that thus manifest vigorously exist and finally fade away back into its vastness. Are innumerable in number, but in its mind transcending infinity, in the vastness of its infinity. These millions and billions and trillions of universes coming into being, lasting for a while, and once again disappearing, getting absorbed back into the great being. Their presence is not even felt by the all-transcending divine consciousness. Such is its transcendence, such is its vastness. Such is its unimaginable, staggering infinitude. It is difficult to understand the implication by hearing this spoken through words that try to convey it. It is difficult to grasp its true implication. It is only by meditating upon it through continuous concentrated meditating upon it, one may be able to attain some little tangible inner idea. what that stupendous infinitude actually implies. Reflect, meditate, reflect, meditate, reflect, meditate. Some idea may dawn. That too will only be a provisional idea in accordance with the capacity of our human brain and the range of our human language and vocabulary. When we begin to get a little glimpse, little understanding. Within the ultimate range of human language, within the ultimate range of our ability to form ideas. A limited provisional grasp of it is possible by diligent effort. Otherwise, fundamentally, the finite cannot know the infinite. Non-eternal cannot know the eternal. The many cannot know the one. All knowledge is at once possible for the infinite, for the one without a second, the non-dual being. The infinite reality at once knows all things in its sum totality, in a single moment, because it is also eternal. Eternity encompasses everything that exists in a single moment of time. There is nothing that is not known to the Supreme Being. Therefore it is that those who have experienced that being have called it omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. All the great religions of the world that exist in the world at this moment, whatever the differences they may have about the concept of God, but in this namely that He is omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient, In this, all religions have the same to say. That Supreme Being in whose all-pervading presence we gather together at this early morning hour, the God of all religions, the Brahman of the Upanishads, the Bhagwan of the Bhaktas. In His invisible presence, we are gathered together in the spiritual fellowship of the early morning hour before Holy Master. It is a bestowal out of infinite compassion by that primal being to whom we offer our homage. Loving adorations to beloved and revered Holy Master Gurudev Swami Chidananda Maharaj. Who realizing the great distance that separated man bound in Maya separated man who has taken embodiment here due to the operation of the law of karma. And is completely under the domination of non-knowledge, nescience, or ajnana. Jnana is knowledge. Ajnana is non-knowledge. A state of being without knowledge, a state of absence of knowledge. And seeing that this world is a world fully under the domination of Maya, and the vision of man is only directed towards the world around him. And difficult it is for man to raise his vision upward and behold supramundane realities. Knowing this, he made it his life's mission to try to bring the human race out of this state of ignorance, spiritual blindness, to wake them up, to shake them up, and to declare to them the way to their own highest welfare. Again and again, through numerous books, from numerous angles, he kept on doing this task of first bringing human being out of Maya, making the human being aware that he is in a state of non-seeing. You think you see, but you do not see. What the scientist sees inside a laboratory, a layman, if he goes, he can see nothing. He can make out nothing of the things that are there. They make no meaning for him. He may be very knowledgeable in other subjects, business, commerce. But in the laboratory of a scientist, he is all at sea. In the most shrewd and very clever beings, they have to be taken on a conducted tour inside a chemical laboratory, for example, or an electronic laboratory. Even though they see, they cannot see. That is the condition of the man in this world. The passing, the finite, the temporary, the perishable. They see, all this they see very well. The support of all this, the unpassing, the eternal, the ground of all, the eternal ground of all, the imperishable, the infinite, the indestructible, that which is forever, that which supports the passing scene. Is something quite unknown and strange to them. That is the reality. And Holy Master made it his work to tell modern man that which is seen is an appearance only, the unseen is the real. Come, do not get lost in this temporary appearance. Lift up your eyes, lift up your gaze, and try to perceive the unseen. And when that perception is awakened, life really starts for an individual human being. And This has been an act of great grace on the part of Holy Master. That he has opened our spiritual vision and made us see things that are not passing, that are not appearances, that are real, that are permanent, eternal. And he brought out an entire body of literature to try to expound every aspect of this process of arising from the unreal and ascending into the real, rising from darkness and ascending into the light. And thus liberating yourself from mortality and death and ascending into state of immortality, imperishable deathlessness, eternal existence. Swami Ramdas, in his own unique way, has been doing the same to his contemporary human surroundings during his lifetime. He did it in various ways. He brought into being a great big book containing guidance, admonitions and teachings for people in all walks of life. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Shudras, Vaishyas, husbands, wives, children, teachers, rulers, subjects. People playing different professions. Human dharma. Ethics of man, and also the down-to-earth, pragmatic, practical life of man. It is his magnum opus. It is a big book. It is called Das Bodh. Awakening by the servant. Because his name was Ramadas. So he called that work Das Bodh. Bodh means that which awakens. Awakening by a servant. By Das, he means himself. Srimad Samarth Ramadas' composition, Das Bodh, is a considerable tome. It's a big volume, giving advice and guidance and admonition as well on human conduct in all its variegated fields of human activity. Human being in all his different capacities. A single man is a human being. He is the son of a father. He is a brother to a brother, brother to a sister, neighbor to a neighbor. He is subject to a ruler. He is a player of some profession. Professional etiquette he has to know. And if he marries, he is the husband of a wife. Then he becomes a parent of children. Then he becomes in-laws to in-laws. Thus, the various aspects in which he stands to human society around him goes on developing. He becomes a citizen of a society. He becomes a citizen of the world. For all these various capacities in which he has to function in this world, Swami Ramdas has to say something very, very important and fundamental through his Dasabodh. And for the individual, in his personal capacity, he gave this little admonition through Manacheshlo. And here, he made a special subject the inner life, the spiritual life. Of the individual. In our portion for today, in the 3 verses of Manacheshlo, they are 90, 91 and 92. Swami Ramdas who has been all along telling us the benefits of keeping close to Sri Rama through his divine name. What are all its advantages? What are all its good results? Now in 90, verse 90, he takes another stance and says, "O man, beware. I have elaborated upon the benefits, the great good that will be the outcome of devotion to God and repetition of His name, diligent repetition of His name. But let me not forget to tell you that great harm will befall the man who forgets God. Great tribulation, great suffering will be his lot. If he breaks away from contact with God, if he does not think of God, if he does not utter his divine name, such a person on whose tongue the name is absent, such a person who forgets the Supreme Divine Being will go in for very great trouble. He will find himself in painful travail. Difficulties and tribulations will befall him. I caution you, tomorrow do not say that I did not make you aware that God's name is indispensable in your life. If you want to be free from suffering, therefore, O man, dire is the fate of the one who forgets the Divine Being and on whose tongue the name of Lord is not present. Therefore, I give you this word of caution. And those few who knew it, even though they were in society, they were indrawn, busily engaged in listening to the sweetness of Ram which was going within. Or listening to the inner sound that starts to be felt and heard when we advance in sadhana. And it is so absorbing that once the inner sounds are heard, the celestial music, the person is engaged only in listening to it. And he cannot tear himself away from this great joy. So people in society will say, this is an idler, useless man, does nothing, simply sits for hours together. But in simply sitting he is enjoying nectar. There is the inner sound going on as a result of his long, diligent practice of Ram Nam and prayer. So he is in a different dimension. His consciousness is in a different dimension. And he is absorbed in that inner experience. So they call him a useless fellow, a burden on society. Far from being a burden, he is a blessing to society. Such a sadhaka. Therefore, Samartha Swami Ramdas says in verse 90, take him as your example. With great reverence, constantly repeat the name of God. That is the one thing of essence. All the scriptures, Vedas, Shastras, Puranas, glorify Harinam. And the words of the great sage, Maharshi Vedavyasa, who compiled the Vedas, who wrote the Brahma Sutras, wrote the Mahabharata, he also has to say the same thing. Name is real, name is supreme. O man, hasten and take to the name. Otherwise, if you do not have a name in your life, much suffering will befall you. You will have to experience and encounter a great deal of trials and tribulations and encounter great harm. A word of caution. And in verse 19:1 he says, come, do not delay anymore. And what I am asking you to do is simplicity itself. To take the name of Rama, you do not have to spend anything. You do not have to spend 1 cent, 1 naya paisa in Indian rupees. You have a tongue, it comes easy. You don't have to pay any cost. It is the easiest of the easy. It is the cheapest of the cheap. And it takes nothing at all for you to take it up. Therefore, when this great facility is there, why do not you avail yourself of this facility? You have to spend nothing, and at the same time you can greatly gain if you take to the name. Do that now. Repeat the name of God. And in verse 92, Swami Ramdas says, you may be overwhelmed with a burden of guilt, burden of sin, burden of your own unworthiness. Leave away all those considerations. If with great reverence the name is uttered, no matter what drawbacks, what negative qualities, what vices you may have, the moment you take up the repetition of the God's name in real earnest, all these vices and evil qualities and negative trends within your personality will be flung far away from you. They cannot stand before God's name. They will go away from human haunts and go into some distant forest, mountainous region and hide themselves in some cave, afraid of the impact of Rama. You have nothing to fear. It takes no time for Rama. The divine name is uttered with great reverence, and all blemishes and negative qualities go far away and hide in the distant mountain caves. Hearing the divine name, the Lord is pleased, and He comes to dwell ever by your side. He will never leave you. He becomes your companion. And the greatest example of this constant abidance of God in another being, the greatest example of this is Lord Shiva. Due to his devotion, due to the practice of the divine name, Lord Rama has enshrined himself forever in the heart of Lord Shiva. He steadily abides in the heart of Lord Shiva. because of Lord Shiva's determined sadhana of wanting to attain oneness with Lord Rama. And he did it through the name and through constant thought of Lord Rama. If you do it in your own way, within your own capacity, you will experience the same state. The Lord will come to abide steadily within you, and there will be no more any parting. Thus admonishes Sri Sant Samarth Ramdas to his Manache Shlok, of which we have considered verses 90, 91 and 92 for today. By the divine grace of the Supreme Being and the loving benedictions of Holy Master, to whom therefore we offer our hearts gratitude and thankfulness. And at the same time, I am thrice blessed that I am made the instrument or the channel through which to convey to you all these insights and teachings of Manache Shlok of Swami Ramdas, these early morning hours. Right from the very first sloka, very first sloka of the Manache Shlok says, Prabhate mani Ram chintita java. O man, in the early dawn, go along thinking of God, thinking of Rama. And chant his name loudly. Vaikhari, chant his name loudly. Rama 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 Rama. Rama 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 Rama. Shri Rama 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 Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram For this privilege of Ram Nam, we earnestly and sincerely thank the Supreme Being and the Holy Master. And I thank you all and express my gratitude to all of you here assembled in this sacred Samadhi hall for you have been the ones who have enabled me to offer this service of sharing with you the spiritual truths and admonitions and teachings of Samartha Ramdas, Guru of Shivaji, through his little book of verse, Manache Shlok. From this seat, during these mornings, and therefore I conclude by adding to my thanks and gratitude to the Supreme Being and to the Holy Master, by adding to that my deepest gratitude to all of you who are present here in this hall. For your presence, I am grateful and I thank you for your divine presence and your attentive hearing, and last but not least, for your very gracious accepting, receiving of that which has been shared from this seat in a spirit of service, a spirit of serving you all. For all these triple graces from you, your presence, your attention, and you are receiving, I offer my very, very special, grateful thanks. God bless us all. Thus are you. Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sri Vishwanasaya Namaha, Om Sri Shankaracharya Namaha, Om Sri Sadguru Shivanandaya Namaha. Brahmanya Rakshama
Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Pajima Subramanya Subramanya Subramanya
Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Pahimam Subramanya 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 Rakshama
Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Pajima Subramanya 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 Rakshama
Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Namaha
Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Namaho
Kartikeya 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 Sharanamo
Kartikeya 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 Saranaho
Subramanya 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 Pahimam Kartikeya 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 Rakshama
Subramanya 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 Pahimam Kartikeya 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 Rakshama
Subramanya 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 Namaha Om Kartikeya 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 Sharanamo
Subramanya 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 Namaho Kartikeya 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 Saranamo
Kartikeya Swami ki jai. Paramatmane Parabrahmane. Worshipful homage to that supreme, eternal reality, the primal cosmic being, who is the ultimate provider of all the needs and requirements of his entire creation, millions of universes. Worshipful homage to him who is the plentiful provider of all creatures that he has brought into existence. He looks after the welfare of all created creatures. Even before an egg is hatched, he has already made provision of who will feed, how will feed, with what will be fed the hungry chick once the egg hatches and the hungry chick comes out. From that moment onward, everything is provided for. He has created other creatures so that it will be food for the wide open mouth of the newly hatched chick. And right until the very end of its life. Even so for all species of living beings, including man. He is the supreme provider. He has made arrangement to meet the hunger of his creatures. He is the Sthitikarta, the preserver. He preserves all things brought into being. To him our worshipful and grateful adorations. May his grace be upon all. Loving adorations to revered and beloved Holy Master Guru Maharaj, Swami Shivanji Maharaj, whose reliance upon the Supreme was total, absolute, worth seeing. It was an object lesson to us. Radiant immortal Atman, beloved and blessed children of the Divine, devotees of the Lord, selfless servers, meditators, and inquirers into the nature of the ultimate reality through vichar, vivek, vairagya, through analytical reasoning and through investigation, Vedantic investigation. All of you have got but one ultimate aspiration, to realize God, to realize the self. And whatever classes are taken in scriptures and other books taught, whatever lectures are given, whatever expositions are made, in such an ashram, in such an atmosphere, among such an audience, all these various exercises, lectures, discourses, expounding a scripture, etc., also will have the same objective: how to attain God and attain liberation. How to impart knowledge or share knowledge, or expound knowledge of the art and science of self-realization, God experience. Even so, from a small little pocket book of verses, Sant Samartha Swami Ramdas is trying to do the same thing. By his verses addressed to the mind, he is also, in his own simple way, with apt analogies and comparisons and parallels, trying to explain to us the path that leads ultimately to God realization, liberation. And inasmuch as human life is not entirely cut off from life of human society in this world, it is not devoid of all contact Naturally, during these verses and teachings, he has also to speak about human conduct. Because you have to work out your destiny, divine destiny, in and through the world of men. Having many things to do with them. There is a constant reciprocal give and take in human society between human beings all over the world, in different contexts. And if this process is also of such a nature so as to be conducive to your overall quest, your seeking and striving, then it would indeed be a very desirable state of affairs. So there is an integrated move towards the single idea. Whereas, if the manner in which you conduct yourself amidst human society and you relate yourself to human society, and if your reciprocal exchange is of a negative kind, not in accordance with the spiritual guidance, then it creates a situation that becomes a sort of a problem and an obstacle to your own striving. Wisdom lies in trying to know the difference between these two types of activities in human society. Constantly discriminating between them. Proper and the improper, right and wrong. That conducive to my liberation, that goes against my liberation. Always discriminate. And reject and eliminate anything that is contrary to your quest. This is a wise spiritual aspirant and wise sadhak's efforts in this direction. Discernment, discrimination, selection and rejection. They characterize the life of a true sadhaka. Swami Ramdas says, we have taken up verse 93. Yes, yesterday was 92, 91 and 90. We have taken up verse 93, 94 and 95. Oh man, says Swami Ramdas, what do you lose by taking the name? Are you carrying the whole burden of the world? That you think if you spend your time in chanting the name, you will be neglecting your duty and the sin will accrue to you? Are you carrying the burden of the world? Are you the food giver for entire mankind? Foolish man, don't get this sort of an idea. You are not an atlas. He says, the giver of food of the whole universe is Lord Rama. Sarvaloka Annadata, he is a great Annadata. He feeds the whole universe. No one goes without food, even a beggar, even street children who have no home, no parents, no one to give food. Policeman shoots them away. as soon as he approaches them, saying, "You are all developing into pickpockets and others." Even they who are in the open street, they scavenge among dustbins and scavenge among these garbage dumps. I've seen it with my eyes in Calcutta, long ago. At that time, a lump rose in my throat and there was a sensation as though a towel was being squeezed inside my underbelly heart and my midriff. But then I found, because I used to go for a series of lectures in the same way, I had to cross this big garbage dump. And they were scavenging. Dogs were also fighting with them. Crows used to come and sit. Sometimes a cow used to stray there to eat some banana leaves. But then I found that these children who were scavenging, they were laughing and joking, fighting and quarreling, and sometimes triumphantly holding out a very good piece of food, which had been perhaps rejected by someone who was overfed already, and it was forced upon him. He left it in the leaf plate, and it was thrown out. And if a bigger boy ran after him, this boy would scoot quickly, scurry away, so that it may not be snatched from his hand. This life goes on. It is not a sight only in Calcutta or India, in Italy, in many poor countries, South America. It is only the sophisticated northern European countries that this sight is not seen. There are no garbage dumps, and begging is an offense. But as we go south, Middle East, same. And Swami Ramadas says, everyone gets food. God is a great Annadata. You don't have the burden of the universe upon your head. You are not the giver of the food to the hungry. Therefore, leaving all unnecessary thought, take the name of Lord Rama. You have no responsibility. You are not carrying the burden of the world. You are not the feeder of mankind or living creatures. Take the name of God. That is why you have come here. And in the next verse he says, this is a reference to a Puranic mythological incident where when Shiva was sunk in deep meditation, the celestials conspired that he should be somehow or other disturbed from the meditation. The meditation must be broken and he must be made to be aware of the outer environment and the world, things in it. And two things militated against this plan and scheme of theirs. One is Shiva's meditation was so deep that it was not easy to bring him out of the meditation. And they asked, will you be able to do it? Will you be able to? No. Then all of them decided to approach Cupid. They said, he is the proper person. if he can shoot his arrows, invisible arrows, and arouse in Shiva's system the longing for physical experience, sensual experience, then if this penetrates deeply, it is possible that it may gradually disturb his meditation and make him come out. And they all go to him. He said, no, my God, it will be death. If I succeed in disturbing him, finished. I'll be no more. Because he'll be so furious. Who can face his terrible anger? But they all, and at last, Cupid's wife, Rati, also protests, but they all prevail upon her to withdraw her protest. And then he takes upon himself to disturb Shiva. After much effort, after creating an environment of such attraction outside. Mythologically, of the 4 seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring is attributed to Cupid. It is the season of flowers and fragrance and attraction everywhere. So he creates spring in the icy Himalayan regions. Everywhere flowers blossom. Everywhere fragrance fills the air and bees hum about. And after persistent effort, refusing to give up, at last he succeeds in disturbing Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, thus disturbed, is very annoyed, and he opens his eyes. He says, "Oh, you rascal, you are the person who has done this." And in a furious blaze of anger, opens his third eye, which is never opened. And the third eye is capable of burning the 3 worlds to ashes. All the 3 worlds to ashes. And in an instant, Cupid is burned, a heap of ash. No more. Cupid is destroyed. It is called Kama Dahana. And Lord Shiva is once again about to go into meditation, when with loud lamentation, Cupid's wife, partner Rati, she falls at his feet and laments and weeps and wails. What have I done to deserve this widowhood? Thou art just, O Lord. But I have not sinned against you. I have done nothing. I am innocent. Why have you conferred this widowhood upon me? See? The impact of something to do to one person upon quite another person about whom we never thought. Thus, loudly she laments, catches hold of his feet and weeps and wails. And due to this piteous sight, Parvati is moved. She tells Lord Shiva, true, what has she done? She is innocent and she is made to suffer. You are all compassionate in your real nature. Except when these paroxysms of fury and anger assail you. Otherwise, you are all compassionate. Very easily propitiated, always giving booze. Do something now. Thus, implored by Parvati, it is all right. Widowhood will not be yours. I will resurrect Cupid from the dead, but his body is burnt. It is too late for me to do anything. Brahma creates body, I cannot create a body. I am not a creator, I am a destroyer. So he will continue to exist without a body. So, another Sanskrit name for Cupid is Ananga, who has no body, no limbs. But Rati is able to see him. To Rati he is visible, but to others he is invisible. So Rati is saved from widowhood. The lost husband is restored to her. And Ramdas says, Shiva was able to cool down his blazing anger by the repetition of his beloved Ram Nam. Beloved Ram Nam. And knowing the greatness, the grandeur and the glory of Ram Nam, Parvati also ceaselessly keeps repeating it. O ye men of this world, when Shiva and Parvati are both repeating it, why not you also repeat it? Be wise. This is the time now. Keep repeating the name of the Lord. The name that Parvati, Mother Parvati, Lokamata, Parvati repeats. The name which Lord Shiva repeats, Shankara repeats. Thus, he importunes people, repeat the name of Rama, so that they may attain their highest welfare before this life comes to an end. And in the third verse, he says, there is nothing that the name cannot do. Repeat it in any way you like. It will immediately confer upon its immense benefits. The dacoit who used to live by breaking the heads of unwearied travelers to a deep jungle pathway, he was a tribal man, fierce, unread, uncouth, uncultured, uneducated. He did not know what right and wrong was. He did not have any idea of good or bad. He was born and brought up that way, and that was his profession of his tribe. And what his father did, he also followed. His profession was head breaking. See? He dealt in death and dacoity. Ultimately, a turn comes. He tries to assault a few saints who were passing through the forest. And when he rushes towards them with uplifted weapon, they calmly look at him, amused. He's taken aback. What is this? I am seeing. Everyone towards whom I take a step trembles with fear, screams, and turns back and takes to the heel. No one has simply stood still and confronted me and smiling. He's shocked. He's taken aback. What is this? He's not able to understand, confused. And when he's about to assail them, he stops. He says, what is this? Are you not afraid of me? What's what to be afraid of? Huh? You ought to be afraid. Why should I be afraid? You should be afraid of the consequences of your actions. Now you are doing this, tenfold you have to pay. Then you will weep and wail and gnash your teeth and tear your hair. Nothing will be of any avail. What do you mean? Why should I fear? Why should anything happen to me? Damn fool. Everything that you do will come back to you. It will rebound. There is in this world created by God a law prevailing which says action and reaction are equal and opposite. If action goes this way, reaction comes this way. And in the same measure, the law of action and having to experience the result of that, fruit of that action. Cause and effect, inexorable. So all that you do in the same way will come down on your head. Oh, if I break a head, one day my head will break. Surely. If I cut off the limb of one man, one day I will also have my limbs short. Surely. You will be an abject, pitiable object. Suffering. The fear comes into this man. He says, in that uneducated, uncultured, unlettered brain, a thought comes, but I am not doing it for myself. I am doing it for my wife and children in the forest. So he tells them, but why should I be made to suffer? I am doing this for my wife and children at home. They must pay for the actions I am doing. It doesn't work that way. From where the cause proceeds, there only the result also will come. You cannot sow some seeds in one field and expect to reap a harvest in some other field. Okay? Where you sow, as you sow, so you reap there itself. If they commit some action, they will be having to repeat. You won't. But you commit an action, you. No, how can they do? I feed them, clothe them, look after them, everything. All right, you go and ask them and come. Whether they are prepared to take upon themselves the result of your heinous crimes. Yes. For a moment, he is about to go, then he says, oh, this is a nice trick they are making. So that I will turn my back to go home, these people will run away. He says, no, because you want to escape me or saying that. He said, no. Tie us up to these trees, tightly, and then go. We cannot move our limbs. So he ties them to a tree, 2 or 3 trees, goes and puts this question, and the wife says, no, what do you know in what way you are getting our food? You married us, you created this family, you brought forth these children, therefore it is your pure responsibility. Feeding a family is the responsibility of the head of the family. We don't bother about it. And how you bring your food, what do you know? We did not tell you, do this, do that. However much he tries to argue in his own poor way, both the wife and the children, they reject him. He said, don't come to us with these nice stories. For what you do, you are responsible. For whom you do it cannot be responsible because it is your duty to them. Then he goes back, trembling, weeping, wailing, falling at their feet, crying. And then they relent, bless him and tell him, you take this name, you will be liberated. And they initiate him with the name Rama. And after they go away, he forgets it. He starts repeating Mara. Mara, Mara. Instead of Rama, Mara. And as he goes on repeating it, Mara, 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 Mara becomes Rama. Ulta nama japat jagat jana Valmiki bhayo brahma samana. Ulta nama japat. By repeating the name topsy-turvy, back and front. The world knows that Valmiki became a Brahmajnani. He became sage Valmiki. Later on, he went into Tapascharya. He wrote the Ramayana, original Ramayana in Sanskrit. It's all well-known story. This is what Ramanam can do. This is the glory, the power of Ramanam. And another man, a great sinner, there is no sin that he has not committed, and lives with her in that hovel. They produce children, and he names one of his sons, youngest son, Narayana. He dotes upon him, becomes very fond, very much attached. So, then if duties, irregular life, vices, and all types of bad habits, he falls ill. Before his time, he falls ill. And soon attains a condition of dire illness that people give up hope. He has to die now. And when he is thinking, mind is in a whirl. He cannot see with the eyes open also. Slowly hearing is fading. At that time he knows, something is happening to me, terrible is happening to me. And then when he does not see the environment with his eyes, he is able to see some apparitions. Some horrible looking apparitions. And some very, very bright, shining, beautiful looking apparitions. And as he is seeing, he finds there is a tussle between the two, fight between the two. And at that time, the thought of his beloved son youngest son, whom he has named Narayana, fills his mind and he calls out aloud in his attachment, great attachment, Narayana. Boy is playing somewhere outside. Mother goes and calls him. By the time he calls him a second time, a third time, Narayana, Narayana, and dies. And the servants of Yama have come to take him down to nether regions, hell, because of his sinful life. But because he has uttered the word Narayana 3 times, immediately emissaries of Narayana from Vaikuntha at that moment come. And Yamaraja's servant says, "Get away, he is not fit for you. He's a sinner. We are going to take him." We don't know all that. We have been told by Lord Vishnu that someone is calling me, go and bring him here. So there is a fight, and the Vishnu Dutas drive away the servants of Yama and take the departed spirit of Ajamila to Vaikuntha Loka. Such is the power of the divine name. There is also a story in the Puranas of a prostitute who was practicing prostitution in a city. She was a person of ill fame, and it's a fallen profession. And she had a pet parrot in a cage in her house. And she had named the parrot Rama. To while away her time when she was alone during the daytime, she used to frequently go near the cage and say, Rama, 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 talk, say Rama. And parrot would answer. Gradually it formed the name Ram. Then she said, Narayana, Hari, 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 Hari. Say Hari, say Hari. You have learned Rama and Hari. Don't say Narayana, Narayana. If Narayana is too long, say Vishnu, 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 Vishnu. So the parrot used to repeat Vishnu. To make it repeat Vishnu, Pingala repeated Vishnu. To call it, she called him by the name Rama, which she had given to it. Hari, Hari. And she plied her trade. And when the time came for her to depart, Vishnu Dutas, shining, radiant, clad with so many golden ornaments and silken clothes, come to take her. She is seeing this in a vision. She folds her hand and begs their forgiveness. And she says, you have come here by mistake. There must be some mistake. I think you must have come to take some virtuous lady, but I am a fallen woman. See? And therefore, please go elsewhere. I am not worthy of being taken by you. She says, Pingala, look here. You have been constantly calling upon the Lord. You have been taking His name. With your lips you have been uttering Rama, Vishnu, Hari. What greater merit do you think you could acquire in this Kali Yuga? How should you think that if we are come to take someone else, we have to come to take you only? Lord is highly pleased with you. And thus, Pingala was taken to Vaikuntha, abode of Lord Vishnu. Why? Because of uttering the God's name. Even not meaning it to be God's name, but uttering it for the sake of the parrot, yet the name is a name. Diamond is a diamond. For whatever purpose you may use it. For commercial purposes in the factories, for cutting glass, or for ornamentation. A nose ring, ear ring, on a crown. Diamond is a diamond. Name is a name. Its power will never fail. Thus, Ajamila goes to heaven. When such fallen people like Ajamila and Pingala, the public woman, were thus saved by the name, given heaven as a reward. When you have such a name, O men, why do you keep quiet without repeating the name? Get up, repeat the name that liberated Pingala, the prostitute. Repeat the name that liberated Ajamila, the sinner, and attained the Supreme Lord. Thus, in these three verses, 93, 94, and 95, Sant Samartha Ramdas says, O men, such is the name of the Lord. Such is Ram Nam. Such is divine name. When this easy path is available in Kali Yuga for rising upon above all obstacles and sins and shortcomings and attaining the Lord, why do you wait? What are you waiting for? Come, come. Take to the divine name. Become a practitioner of the divine name and make this life fruitful in the highest attainment. Thus admonishes Sant Samartha Ramdas, the renunciate guru of Maharashtrian Emperor Shivaji, in and through his little pocket book of verses addressed to the mind, Manate Shlok. And by the grace of the Supreme, divine grace of the Supreme, and loving benedictions of Holy Master, we have been able to receive these insights and truths from this great little book of admonitory verses with the many, many examples given, guiding us, admonishing us, and enthusing us towards the Ram Nam. And it has been my privilege to share these teachings contained inside this book with you all in this early morning hour where you have gathered for the collective hour of chanting and silence and discourse. It has been my privilege to share it with you from this seat. I am therefore thrice blessed, and therefore I offer my thanks to the Supreme Being, my thanks to the beloved Master, Swami Chidananda, and my thanks to you all, because you have made this little service worthwhile by your divine presence in this hall at this morning hour, and by your attentive hearing to what has been said, and your very gracious acceptance and receiving of the service offered to you from this seat in the form of this sharing from this seat. Thus, Hari Om Tat Sat Paramatma. Oh.